We're going to call the meeting of the River Plantation River Plantation Municipal Utility District Board of Directors to order at 6:32 p.m. on July 13th, 2023. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors for, there were two of them, June 8th and June 15th. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Look clear to me.
Good. All look good? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I have a motion to?
Yeah, the move is accept the minutes.
For both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Receive comments from the public. Can you grab that sheet? Does anybody say yes?
No,
No? Okay.
no, I'm not.
Okay, you can sit down, Tom. Nobody said yes.
Well, I gotta get it.
Well, we can do it later. Okay. Number 3, discussion regarding the water plant number 3. Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss about that?
Okay, I'd like to ask, you all read the minutes that were in that? I thought it was really different than the minutes I received when I was a director. All I got were the minutes. I hardly got any attachments. This had so much information. It was really informative. Now, what was weird though is we've got the people from 45 coming over here. First of all, they thought they were in the city because there's a 16-inch water line. And they find out they're here in the mud. So they come to find out what we have. Can we service them, or or do they have to build it?
Are you talking? Who are you talking about?
Vote the 45 property. 45 across the street.
Okay.
That's
They're asking us for approval?
They came in asking.
You're talking about a long time ago, years ago. Yeah,
Well, this started everything.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they came in to see if we had enough water. And if we didn't, they were gonna pay for it, but then expected the money back.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they were in their free look period. They didn't have any contracts or anything on their properties. They were just doing their feelers out here. Well, about a month after that, an engineer starts writing to Trek, or to, not to Trek, but TCEQ, about all these projects going on over at 45 and getting all these numbers together. And they're talking about, not to worry because the developer's going to pay for this. And then they're talking then about later, what are we going to do? Do we take it out of our reserves, or do we do a bond issue? Well, if it went a bond, nobody would vote for it. Everybody was against it. But they kept using the 45 property as their basis when they couldn't even get a hold of them. And they hadn't closed on that land till 2007, never sold anything till 2019. So there was nothing going on there, and they weren't going to put money up for a plant if they didn't have any projects. And the thing is, what they wanted to do, and this would have been very simple for MUD, since they're in the district, they would pay the taxes, pay the water bill to MUD, but get water from the city, and then they wouldn't have to really do anything. Well, I mean, it just got so weird because I thought we just had one rogue engineer, the one that wrote that letter in March of 2008. But here we've got 2 other engineers working on this. And so that was kind of new to me because I'd never even heard of them. And so here we are. We've got all this. I mean, they're sending 4- and 5-page design things to TCEQ. They're doing all this. They have no money for this project. Nobody's putting anything up. They wanted 20, and they never heard from the 45 property again. So here we are. They're putting up this plan. Well, it was about February the 8th is when the club was sold. Because during these few years here, the club's in financial problems. They're even asking the MUD to take care of the pool and the tennis courts, and the MUD rejected that. So here we are. We've got The thing is sold, and it's sold, and there's no restrictions, because they all expired. And so then it was not about a month after, we're getting a justification letter from Richard. He's passing this out to everybody, and it has all the specs for the property.
What year was this?
Pardon me?
What year was this?
What, that it was sold?
That you're talking about now?
2008.
2008. Thank you.
Yeah, it was, the property was sold. A month later, we're getting this report. It's a 4-page report, and it, you know, zeroes in on all the development over there and everything. This is what's given to us. And so, of course, everybody here is ticked off. Why are we paying for this for those people? You know, and nothing's happening. So that was in February. In April, there's a meeting over at the club. Everybody's ticked off. We get the board there and the attorney. And then they bring up, well, we need it for fire prevention. Well, of course, it scares some people. But here's the fire chief. He's not at the meeting. So my husband calls me the next day, and he's questioning it. And he says, well, MUD never called him to see what they needed. He said, they never told me about the meeting. He said, and we don't need it. You know, we're bringing everything in for that. So then it was May 5th. Now the election was coming up, so this is why all this stuff's getting rushed. So May 5th, and there Tom Young and Bob Smith were the ones against the plant. So they were looking at a project that Jack had figured out that we could do it, it'd be cheaper, and it wouldn't be up front. So they had the meeting, Tom does his whole little spiel. Well, Mahaffey doesn't even bother with it. He goes right to, we're going to do this contract, and he signs the contract. That meeting lasted from 5 o'clock till 5:09.
Without a vote?
For the vote, for the,
Did they have a vote?
yeah, they voted to, but it wasn't unanimous, but it was a majority.
Okay.
Because they knew they were gonna be losing 2 guys on Saturday. This was the Monday meeting, and then the vote, or the election was on Saturday. And of course, Dick and Jack won by 3-to-1 margin, because nobody wanted the tank up there. And I mean, it was just kind of, it was strange that we were going all this way and rushing everything. But
So,
what
Dee,
was-
can I stop you?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the, I don't know if you ever saw the letters about the meeting with Blisle that Kurtzinger and Richard and them had with Blisle? So I have copies of those letters if you want copies of those letters.
Who's Blisle?
Blisle used to be our engineer. Okay. But we don't need to go through this month by month, but I will tell you there's 2 important reasons that we need that tank at number 3. Number 1 being tank number 2 is about to go through a whole total electrical rehab, right? Agree? Okay. Second thing is, what happens when we have another flood, which don't say it won't happen, because now the likelihood is even more apparent than it has been in the past because of what's going on over across the freeway, okay? We're going to need that tank at number 3. And if you say we have the interconnect is only good for at most 2 days. How are you going to flush your toilets? How are you going to get water? How are you going to take showers? What are you going to do after 2 days?
You know, we had that, we used the interconnect after that flood in '94.
And
Yeah, but
Yes,
we
we
didn't
did.
use it for 2 days, though.
Can I,
Sure.
so during
Yes,
Harvey,
during Harvey. Well,
Richard was calling me, giving me updates.
Not during Harvey.
So he called and told me well number 1 died, and that we were going to well number 2. And I was new, so he was explaining things to me. He said, we're gonna go to well number 2. If that fails, then we're gonna have to go to well number 3. And if that fails, then we have to go to the interconnect. Jamie we won't be able to sustain but for 2 days. So you're gonna need to get ready to evacuate the community. Well number 2 failed. We went to number 3, and he called me and he said, you need to start praying. And so in fact, well number 3 did sustain us, and that was our backup. And so well number 1's not even working right now, and it's still not enough to sustain us anyway.
Right.
So therefore, we need well number 3.
I'm not
And-
talking about well number 3.
You're talking about the
I'm
tank.
talking about the wells.
You're
You're talking
talking
about
about
the
what the
That
tank.
well was there for 13 years, and it was feeding all the water. We didn't have any problems. I'm talking about the tank, the pressure tank,
Correct.
the pumps, all this stuff that goes with it.
But Dee, let me ask
So
you
if-
this.
if
Can I ask
everything-
her a question real quick?
Sure.
Let me ask you, this is because personal, and I feel bad that that's what you have to look at, but there has to be other solutions to correct that, like bushes and stuff like that. But you're thinking of, and respectfully, I know you're gonna be mad at me when I say this, you're thinking of yourself and not the whole community. And I'm thinking of the whole community as a whole,
Well,
because
let me-
everybody will
Right.
flood.
I am thinking of the whole community, because if this plant is out of here, my value of my house goes up, I'll be paying more taxes. Right now, I use all these pictures to go to the appraisal district every year, and I get it back down. So,
But you're
yeah.
only one person, so you'd rather have, I'm just gonna ask this, and I know you're gonna be mad at me too. You'd rather have a higher value on your house than water and sewer?
Why are you saying that when everybody keeps talking about the well? The well's
Well,
fine.
I understand the well.
We need
I
the tank,
understand.
we need the water that's in there.
Once that water at well number 2 gets contaminated, once it floods,
It has to
and
go
that
somewhere.
water gets contaminated, at tank number 2, you gotta have water from somewhere. And we can't, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? You cannot pump, correct me, can we pump water fast enough to supply all these houses without having to reserve in a tank?
I think, I'm just gonna try to clarify a couple of points.
Okay.
I think
Go ahead.
what Dee
Because I'm
is,
used to a well at a house.
yeah, so I'm thinking what Dee is thinking about, because they do not allow, for TCQ, they do not allow direct distribution from wells anymore.
Okay.
It actually has to go into a storage tank before it gets
Okay.
distributed.
So that's different from
That's-
back when.
Okay.
What I think Dee's alluding to is that well number 3 originally was meant to pump to water plant 2. And so what she's saying is if water plant 2 well goes down, then you can pump from water plant 3 and you still have a singular GST.
Okay.
I think y'all's position may be that, well, what happens when the GST goes down, we have an issue there. Or like you say, we're doing a motor control center replacement, you can't use the booster pumps when you don't have
Right.
motor control.
So you explain what GST is.
Ground storage tank, I apologize.
Nice.
Ground storage tank. And so, if you were to take the MCC offline, obviously you're taking the whole plant offline. It doesn't matter if you have a remote well to fill that tank, you don't have the distribution properties to push it out into the system. That's kind of a clarification of all
Okay.
points.
Okay. So,
I would like to say
Okay.
that water plant 2 is also at a lower elevation, so it's more possible for it to flood.
and it
And
has.
it'll burn out the
Right.
electrical and the pumps before water plant 3. So,
Okay, and what about the interconnect? And we haven't even used it that
The
much.
interconnect is only good at most for 2 days.
As a
In
matter of fact, when they
emergency.
tested the interconnect a couple months ago, first they had to find it because it had been so long since it had been
Yeah,
tested.
that's right, well, it hadn't been used.
It hadn't been used because our dear friend Preston refused to test it on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis. And then they had to physically fight to, not fight, but they really had to fight to open the valve and get it working so that they could test the water.
Well, that should be a fixable problem.
You're right about that, but still, it's only gonna provide 2 days of water.
Now, why do you say 2 days? Because they've got 1 million gallons of water over there and they've got 600 homes.
Yeah, one goes down, you got the
Well,
second.
let's just put it on the table. Is
We
there,
just said, that's what we
is
just
there a
said.
strategic advantage to have 2 tanks? Is it
Even when
benefit to the neighborhood, to our customers, to be able to guarantee that we're gonna be able to supply them water no matter what?
Yes.
Yeah,
If we take tank 3 down, can we make that same guarantee?
if we take all 3 of them down?
No, if we just
No,
take
if
the
we
three,
take
if we take the
Can we
tank
still
down.
guarantee our
If you limit
customers?
yourself to 1 GST, the problem with an interconnect.
So we're
is the
exposing
fact that-
ourselves to not being able to satisfy the needs of our
The
community.
problem with,
So, to me, that answers the question.
Okay, well, let him
The
finish.
problem with relying on an interconnect is that it requires two entities to come together to open it up. By the time you get to that position, you've already been notified that the GST was at a low water level. Then they have to coordinate with the residential district to make sure that they open, because it's not necessarily legal to open that interconnect without permission from the other district. Then they're gonna open that interconnect, and what ends up usually happening in a situation like that, you've already dropped pressure so much that you end up dropping pressure in both districts to equalize pressure. Water plane works as an equalization, so as soon as you open it, it goes from high pressure to low pressure until it equalizes.
I don't really see a benefit to taking it down.
And how long
As
does
far
that
as the
take?
utility of the district.
How long do what take?
How long does it take to get back up to normal?
It just depends. If you get to a point, let's just say, let's talk worst case scenario. Let's say the freezes that we had just a few years ago. There were a ton of districts who had interconnects and had multiple tanks. But what would happen is everybody's got their water line dripping open. You start to have a well failure or a pump failure or anything, and so you lose capacity in your GST, you start to drop pressure. Well, the other district is highly stressed as well. You open an interconnect and it adds stress to that system and starts to bleed off their reserves.
Plus, didn't we lose our pumps at number 2 during the caucus thing? When you guys were up here that one night for like 3 days, 2 days or 3 days?
But that was just, yeah, the leak was so bad, my understanding is that those pumps were struggling to keep up.
So did you have to go to number 3?
Yes.
Well, I'm still looking at the fact that we've got 4.5 gallon tanks in this community.
I
There
don't
ought to
see,
be
I don't see a
something,
benefit to remove it, period. To be honest.
well,
Why don't we work on what we can do
Why don't we
to
do to make
beautify?
it, to make it aesthetically pleasing?
well, let me tell you, on one of those pictures, you're gonna see my house and the fence. Now, I said to Richard, can we put up trees? Can we do something to do that? He says, no, because the TCEQ does not want trees there, because people can get in. Well, the thing is, I have a one-story house. All they have to do is get on my roof, put a board over there, and they're in the plant. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And you know that this is the only house in this county that is this close to a plant. And I'm not sure it's in any other counties.
I mean, that's just the way the property lines are. I mean, I don't.
Well, the thing is, let me tell you what else I found. In looking at this, there were 2 other engineer names with Lyle. Now, we found out too that Lyle was working for us, but he was also working for River Plantation Properties at the same time. So just when did he start? Why was this put up? Why was this rushed? It was perhaps for him.
Well, I
And not for us.
think we know why, but it's not gonna change the,
Well, this is it.
it's not gonna change.
It's not
what
gonna
we're gonna do
change,
with
but
it.
what I'm gonna tell you is, as I talk to TCEQ, these components are marketable. You can sell the tanks, and with inflation, maybe they're worth more, who knows? Put that money toward the bond, put that money toward.
And then you're gonna
Gee,
put
why would you
1,000
put the
houses
community
without
in that
water.
situation?
I don't think it is gonna be
Okay.
putting
I
the
don't
community in a
Okay,
situation.
anybody have any comments on the board? Okay. All right, thanks, Dee.
So Dee, bottom line, what is the reason that you want
Okay,
this plan
and
to go down?
because there, the picture there will show you where that pressure tank is pointing to my house.
Okay, so
If that thing blows, it's going through the house, to the hot water heater, probably to the car. You know, it could be devastating. Also, there's a chlorine building, and those vents are pointed toward us. If the wind is blowing, it's going toward us. We already had somebody from the chlorine supplier was here, and it's pretty much get the heck out of there, because it's gonna be coming down that way. So
So
it's a
can we
danger.
look at that when we look at the design and everything?
Yeah, when you design that new, the new room, is
Yeah.
that something you can look at?
Oh, we-
Well, that one's got new roof.
Yeah, that corner.
That one's
it's
already
got
got
new,
new.
it's got-
Yeah.
it has sensor alerts and there's only 150 pound tanks in there, the dispersion rate from.
Oh,
So
okay.
in a previous life, I did dispersion models for risk analysis, and the dispersion from 150 pound, you wouldn't have multiple tanks going off at once. And so the dispersion from 150, yes, you would smell a chlorine smell, but into the atmosphere, the
dangerously.
dispersion rate would not be.
Okay, well, what happens with that pressure tank? That's 25,000 gallon
How long
pressure.
you been
So,
doing this?
21 years.
Have you ever had a pressure tank?
Never. The reason why, so each high-pressure tank is designed with what we call a pop-off valve. So when it gets to a certain PSI, it'll bleed the air and pressure off the top. By that point, the auto dialer, which is the automated service, would call me or the office, and we'll have someone en route to make sure that the pumps are not running or blowing up line.
Think
Well-
of it like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it leaking, so I had to call Richard. Nobody saw it, because it's there pointed to my house. They come in, I don't know if they check the well or what they check, but they don't check around. And this thing was gushing water. So I mean, you know, it's there. and
Mario, how often do y'all inspect that?
Every day. Well, the guys, we check the levels inside the tank.
Do you
every
go
single
inside?
day. Well, it's a doghouse hatch,
Huh.
so we'll open it, check the water level, make sure it's 50/50. So we keep an eye on that. And then we also clock the hours that the booster pumps run every day, so.
We also have high and low pressure sensors, so
Yes.
if it starts to get what we call airlock, meaning there's too little water in there, or water lock, we know about it well before. and then
Okay, well, how come Richard didn't know that?
Well, I
It's
think
not
this is,
very
we're in a different
Yeah.
world
Yeah,
now
but
with
they-
that.
I don't think anybody can say why.
And
Things
he's not here to
happen.
answer that question.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You got
So,
anything else?
Sounds to me like engineering and operations have addressed the dangerous aspects of this, so.
Well, is there anything you can do to make me safer there?
Make you safer.
With the chlorine and the tank, I mean.
I think we've
They
already
just said it would
reached
dissipate,
a reasonable level
Well,
of safety.
yeah, I know, but can always happen, there's always a chance of something.
There's always a chance of a meteor falling or something
Well,
like
that
that.
could happen too.
I mean, historically throughout the entire greater Houston area, water plants are all over the place next to people's houses.
Not this close.
Yes. that
Really?
close.
Please show me.
My son lives off of Gosling over there, and he had one right behind his house,
Yeah,
right behind his house.
I mean, I would think every water plant that you probably operate, and I operate, are within a residential area on a residential lot next to a person's house.
Okay, please, can you?
White Oak
send me
Estates, you
that
can look it
address?
up. White Oak Estates is actually, the water plant is in someone's backyard.
I'm sorry, what?
White
White
Oak
Oak
Estates.
Estates? Is that off
White Oak
Longmire?
Estates.
White
That's,
Oak
Oak
Estates.
Hollow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally in someone's backyard.
Wow.
We had to designate a driveway.
Wow.
Yeah, it was built way before, and then they built houses around it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Steve. All right. Number 4, financial and bookkeeping matters, including bookkeepers' reports. Any questions?
I looked at them all.
Okay.
I think everything's pretty.
I will tell you, I picked up a check from the P.O. Box again, from East Plantation. If I remember right, I don't think it's posted on here. If I remember right, it was for February, March, and April. So some of that $42,000 that they owe us for has been paid. I picked that up Monday, I think it was, and took it to them. Maybe it was Friday,
And
I
the
don't
new
know.
board's been advised not to use that big field box?
They've been advised multiple times. It's not the board, it's the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper's been advised several times. So I'm just gonna close it and we'll just,
Yeah, just close it
we'll
and
just live with it.
let the chips fall where they may
Yeah.
for that customer that keeps doing
Yeah.
it.
So I have one question. There's several disbursements on here that are double, like Entergy and Centerpoint and prepared
They-
publications.
Prepared publications is twice?
Yeah. it's
Okay,
like
look at the
$100.
date, well, we may have to look at the dates on the checks
Yeah.
because this covers part of,
This is not by month?
this is, no, it is it is middle of one month to middle of the next month.
Energy is 0, and the second one is $1 amount.
Yeah, so yes, and it was because of when we had our meeting last month
Okay,
and our meeting this month,
that's what I figured. but I
Yeah.
didn't check.
yeah, so. Also, I might as well bring it up in case you didn't see it. Municipal accounts was almost 14 grand this month, so, yeah. So I'm contacting a couple of CPA firms that Davis gave me some information on to see if they'll give us a quote and we can see where we go from there.
What's up so much? I mean, what's- is it-
I talked
Messaging
to her,
involved?
I talked to her when we, no, it's not managing involved. I talked to Carol when we were in, where were we at? Corpus, when we were in Corpus at the conference. And she said that basically they're not the firm for everybody. And that some of their smaller firms have to figure out what they want to do. And I talked to another MUD around here, I'm not gonna say which one, but I talked to them and they were using them and they're moving too because it's just.
Yeah, I think it's excessive myself. Thought that for a
Well,
while.
they've got that proprietary
Software.
software.
So
They've-
now they're doing all the
They've improved
software
those
and it's-
charts.
Yeah, well, but it's
that we
still
don't
using
need.
QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just using QuickBooks and then it's exporting to another program,
Yeah.
to their program. And they will not let you not use their proprietary software.
Oh, that's,
You have, it's all or
so we're
nothing.
paying for their software.
Okay, well, let's have
Yes.
some options.
Exactly.
I've got 3 on, got a call,
Okay.
so. By next meeting, it'll be on the agenda,
Okay.
so. All right,
So-
so any questions on the bookkeeper's
I make a
report?
motion, we accept the bookkeeper's report.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Tax assessors, collectors report, we're getting to the time of year where we are, it's dribbling in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're past the good
That's
parts.
it,
of
that's right, we just gotta hope we got enough money to get us to the next good time.
I don't think you can go to McDonald's for all we got coming each month now.
Yeah.
$7,000.
Yeah, any questions on the tax assessor collectors report?
Yeah.
Have a motion to accept it?
I make a motion, we accept the tax assessor collector's report.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review the investments, we're making 5.29%
Yeah.
on those, on that Texas First.
I want to bring something up about that. One of
Okay.
the, when we were down at Corpus at the trade show,
really? Yeah, that's
I went to one of the vendors that was there, and their specialty is investing for MUDs. And he has a investment that's very similar to the Texas fund that we use, that is giving a little more interest than that. So that's something that I think maybe we have an agenda item next month,
Okay.
and we talk about it, because
Okay.
that we can make,
Can you get somebody to either log in on Teams or
I will,
something?
he's already emailed me, we've exchanged emails, and he's ready to talk to us anytime.
Okay, cool.
Oh, the fish feed's not anymore.
Uh,
Oh, he doesn't charge us too
yeah.
much.
So-
Well, yeah.
More than what we're making.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we made over $3,000 last month
Well, I
in
know that,
interest.
that's what I'm saying, but
Yeah,
I can't see changing if I have to pay him for it.
right,
No, you're right.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Make a motion, we accept the review of investments.
okay, a second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any questions on the district's bills besides the ones we've already talked
Gonna
about?
move.
Yeah,
Move the
okay,
payments.
all right, somebody approve the payment of the bills?
I make a motion, we approve the payment of the district.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mario, operators report.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see you again.
Hi, Mariam.
We got June's report. We have total connections at 975 with 8 vacancies. Revenues totaling at $63,058.33. Billed cons at $12,213,000. We got water production. We got pumped at $12,078,000. We got billed at $12,213,000. We got some leaks in there. We're at 101% accountability. We had 2 leaks reported, repaired last month. And 6 bacteriological samples, all came back good. Down below we have our wastewater treatment plant results for the month. Everything is working within parameters. We're currently operating at 55% permitted capacity, and we had almost 4 inches of rain for the month. And total reuse water at 4.2 million. That's up and running again.
Has that been, have we been paid for that?
I don't know the answer to that. I'll look into it.
I've got to call Keith tomorrow on something, so.
And then down below, you have your high users, a good 30 customers between 30 and 50,000 gallons a month.
Mario, can you provide me with a report similar to that last that last part of the report you just noted, that starts at 0 gallons all the way up to the 100,000 gallons. In other words, 0 to 10,000, 10 to 20, 20 to 30.
Perfect.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
That shouldn't
Thank
be a
you.
problem at all.
Okay.
Just a couple things to note, we did install the 2 irrigation taps
So-
up in Charleston. Those were completed last Friday, and then the manhole in front of the pool was also repaired. So,
Oh, good.
yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so they removed the caution tape rebar, and they brought in 2.5 yards of dirt to fill in the hole, so.
Have we got the fluid water going over to the irrigation systems, have been disconnected?
No, sir, I don't think, because they
The
were just
irrigation's
doing the
in.
connection today,
Yeah.
so, when that's ready, I will call you, or Keith or I will call you. You
Because
can
we need to
walk
get
us through that.
that, we need to get that,
Disconnected.
Yeah.
because I don't want it contaminating our system.
Right, so we'll disconnect and, create an air gap and go ahead and do away with that.
On the leaks repaired in the district for the month, there's 2 listed. Were those just pipes that busted because of dry weather?
Yeah. Or just old pipes. I know one of them was the,
CIL.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And,
cool.
that one's actually this week. The one we had last week.
Oh, that's right,
was,
that was just recent.
Was that the one I caught?
Yeah.
We've been
Take
reporting it for months.
No, that's all me. I caught that. I've never done a water line leak. I was like, I called him, I was out here, I was like, hey, it's dry and there's water.
He called me on it. So that
He
was.
called you the other day, I called him a month ago.
Oh, man, come on,
was
look at
last
the one
Monday.
win.
Because it was across the street.
Yeah.
And you know what, the funny part about that is it was on
How
the,
did it get there?
it found an easy way out.
Wow.
The
Wow.
water was bubbling out across the street, but the leak was on.
The other side.
The CIA was.
Wow.
Oh, Mario, the fences we put around the holes, they're falling down.
Are they?
So they need to just be maintained regularly. And that includes the one on number 5 on the golf course.
Okay.
There's a big cave in there that has fences that were, the fence is entirely in the hole.
I know one day I drove by and there were some kids around it, so I don't know if maybe they're picking it or not, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it.
The kids across the golf course are the one who's playing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you, we had an adult and 2 kids down here in this drainage ditch the other night, fishing
Really?
with those
That's
slabs
all
of
the time.
concrete.
Did they catch
There
anything?
are people there all the
Do
time.
they catch
I don't know, I'm surprised that,
Yeah.
I'm surprised the concrete didn't catch them.
If they knew what was
So-
happening, they wouldn't be fishing.
Exactly,
That's right.
exactly, so,
I've watched people fish in a lot of places.
yeah.
You talked about the one behind the
Yeah.
wastewater plant?
Yeah, where those big slabs of concrete are
Yeah,
missing.
they
rubbing
fished
it.
down there for years. Everybody does.
I see little kids fishing, teenagers.
Same thing as in the river.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not worried about the fish, I could care less about the fish, I'm worried about those pieces of concrete breaking loose. So,
But that's all I have, unless you have any more questions.
Any questions from me?
we're good,
Thank you.
all right? Okay.
A motion?
Yep,
I'll make a motion, we accept the MOC report for the month.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 6, mowing contract with All Seasons.
Okay, I sent around the contract 2 days ago. The only item I'll tell you is outstanding. We still haven't gotten that separate pricing from All Seasons on the wastewater plant. We just need that broken out separately because that's a shared expense with East Plantation. We've been checking with them pretty regularly. I don't think it's a major item and it just needs to be broken out. But otherwise, subject to any kind of minor comments, I think the contract's ready to go. If everybody is ready to approve it.
Davis, I have a question. When I read through this, it doesn't seem like it has different frequencies of grass cutting in the summer than it does in the winter. Is it the same all year round? Because the last contract, it was once a month rather than twice a month in the winter time. It looks like this is all the same.
It's the same schedule that Brightview's been following. There's 5 months of the year that it's once
Tim
a month,
worked with them on it.
and
Okay.
7 months of the year that it's twice a month. It may not,
I didn't see it on here.
yeah, it may not indicate it on there correctly,
It's just not spelled out that way in the scope of services that we got to include in the contract. It's not scheduled that way, but we can easily add some language if we want to include a specific schedule and just provide that it can be adjusted by the district as needed. That's easy.
I'm just worried that we
We'd like us to
don't,
incorporate that.
I'm just worried that we don't pay too much if we're gonna do twice a month in the winter time when it's not needed. That's, are we paying for that?
You're right,
Yeah.
you're right. If you'll notice on the bid, the first dollar amount is for the very initial service.
Right.
And then
I saw that.
the following months or weeks, it's a slightly less price because they're not having to do so much legwork to get it started.
Makes perfect sense.
But you're right, it may not be spelled out accurately on there.
So should it be, or?
Yeah, Davis, why don't we clarify that?
There's no question we can. If someone has a schedule that they would like to incorporate into the contract, like I said, we can easily incorporate that one in, and I think we can agree today that we're going to include the same schedule that we have in our current contract, or that we are getting from our current service provider, and that it will just be amended at the discretion of the board. If you need an extra mow or you want to cut back at a certain time, so that we have that flexibility. So
Why don't I reach out with you tomorrow and we'll go over that.
Okay, that'd be perfect. No problem at all.
Then the other question I have is the lawn maintenance every 3 months for the ditch or drain at Williamsburg Park, Jubilee Early. Yeah, every 3 months. I don't know what this looks like. I have not been there, but is every 3 months really okay for something like that?
It may need to be more often, but Tom,
That's plenty.
It is?
Yeah.
All it is, there's some drainage ditches that the weeds will grow up in. If they'll come in there once a quarter, knock them down, then the water will flow.
Okay.
That's been proven, that's where we've been doing it.
okay.
So, they just gotta make sure there's 3 different places, and some of them are just a little bitty, but they just need to clean them out every 3 months or so.
Okay.
And Carl, if we add some language to the contract to say that the mowing can be done on a greater or reduced frequency, and you all determine that every 3 months isn't sufficient, then we can up it. So.
Yeah, Martine has said that he'd be very flexible, and if we need to adjust any of the timing of it, he's more than flexible to do that, and we could adjust the pricing accordingly. But he's fine with adjusting anything once he gets started and we see how fast it's growing.
Perfect. I think that makes sense, and I'll say most importantly, this has a 30-day notice of termination without cause. So if you have a problem, you get them out of there, and we get another contractor in right away.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right. So do we need to make a motion to approve it, to vote on, do we need to vote on approving that contract?
That's right, subject to comment as discussed.
Okay, all right. Do I have a vote?
Yeah, I move we accept it and go forward. We need to get them started.
A second.
Just to see if we can get the grass growing again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right, next one's the engineer's report.
All right, guys, on actually back, quick note, I just texted the bookkeeper for East Plantation and told me to correct the PO box, so it should be corrected in their system now. Nothing new to report on the permit side of things. On the design projects, East Ditch, we did actually receive a comment from the reviewer. It's the second one in their queue right now, so hopefully, 2025, we'll get an answer.
We're the second one on the glacier.
That's right, that's right. East Ditch maintenance, with all season being the new mowing contractor, I reached out to them for a bid. I'm actually going to meet them next week. I did receive an updated bid from Stormwater Solutions. and another 84,000. It's based on kind of a 50.
But that's for a year, right?
That's for a year, right? It's a 50-hour quarter, so
Yeah.
we just break that in four, 50-hour. If you guys want to hold off till, August and we see what all season.
And what was that for?
That's for cleaning up the concrete channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were gonna get Brightview to do it, and then all the stuff happened with Brightview, and so we kind of hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Wastewater treatment facility rehabilitation, East Plantation received approval for reallocation of bond funds to do the project. I've attached a cost estimate, just to kind of update you guys, the cost estimate for that. This is to do some of the cleaning and repair of the actual plant, as well as a lot of demolition and upgrades to the electrical work, for a total of, including contingency and engineering, $993,025. This is something that you guys, obviously, you're on the hook for half of it,
Right.
just about. This is something that you anticipated and sold bonds for.
But that's part of the bond.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You sold bonds for that amount.
Yeah.
And if I can also add, I did have some communication with East Plantation's attorney, and I know that they're interested in working with y'all on, capital repairs to the joint facilities. So it may be beneficial at some time to sit down with them and let them kind of hear from Taylor. I know they have a couple of new board members who might be, interested in hearing about the plant and the drainage projects and whatnot that we've talked about in the past. So
Yeah, I think they actually were going to, or already did, schedule a day with Mario and them to go over and look at the plant. So have they done it yet?
They put eyes on the wastewater treatment.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, they did. Mike gave them a
Awesome.
tour, so
Okay.
they've seen it.
Okay,
Good.
cool.
And actually, Davis, my understanding was they wanted to move forward with the wastewater treatment facility project as laid out in the $993,000. Is that correct? Is that your understanding?
that has been my understanding. That actually started, I think, before the election.
That's correct. That's
After
correct.
conversations with Preston, but I more recently, understood that there was some interest in knowing more about the additional joint facilities projects, like the drainage study and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So just passing that along.
Yep.
Just want to be good partners.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I just wanted to, because the next line I was going to ask for your guys' approval to move forward with the design. Hollow Creek drainage issue, that one is still, I think, going back and forth a little bit with them. So they have the drainage memo that I presented last month. I think they're really just kind of looking at the options as a whole. They seem interested in pursuing that with you guys as well. Moving on to the district projects, we received 2 bids for the project. McDonald Municipal and Industrial was the low bidder, and $551,469 that we are recommending award. I've worked a lot with McDonald and highly recommend them. This bid came in right in par with what we were thinking it was going to. So happy to see that. Nothing really new to update on the district-wide drainage study. Construction projects, everything seems to be going well. Charleston Park, the operator, as mentioned, did install those 2 meters. Storm sewer phase 1, the contractor did mobilize to get the Fairway Estates fixed. This last item, I notified them of the sprinkler, but you gave me a heads up that everything was going good there. That's good to hear. Stone Mountain sinkhole, the contractor has begun work. Attached with the proposal kind of received in the middle of things of $220,550, which is in line with what we had talked about at the last meeting.
So can I ask you a question? Okay, part of the bid said that this is where remember I texted you and I said, or make sure you tell the county that they're gonna go under the street.
Yes.
Was it part of the bid for?
Yes, it
this?
was, and then that,
Okay.
that was completely my mistake.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
weird layout. There's a manhole before the street and,
And there's
a manhole
one on the
after
other
the street.
side.
It was my misunderstanding, so I talked to the contractor actually today, went by there,
Okay.
and honestly realized that, just not even
Okay.
thinking. I thought they just threw it in there by mistake.
Okay,
And so I put in a call to the county saying, hey, just a heads up, this is
Okay.
what's going on. And hopefully I hear back from tomorrow, but they're not supposed to start that section until later next week.
okay. I'm sure the people are happy that they just have their garage in one piece. So that's,
I have a question on the Fairway Estates. Are we completely finished with that one?
Yes, that
that project's not finished, but that repair is finished.
Okay, so did we replace the fence and all that?
Yes, that is all part of site
That was part of their
restoration for the
deal?
contractor,
Okay.
so we just kind of have a lump sum item that says site restoration for anything, and so it's all part of whatever their profit or margin was.
It was a nice fence.
I
They did real
Can you
good.
find one of those in my backyard?
It was a real nice one, they did.
You know, it's one of those things that when you know the people that are doing it and you have the contractors ready to go, it's very cheap to do because you're just
Yeah.
paying materials and.
And I like that company. We need to use them
Yeah.
more because they got in, got it done, and got out.
They did a really good job.
Yeah.
So,
And very respectful of the neighbors as well.
good, I'm glad to hear that. It's not always easy working in these conditions, so I'm glad to hear that everybody's being respectful.
So is that project that's Stone Mountain on the golf course, is that you? did
Yes.
that?
Yeah, it's going all the way.
Which one is that on here?
That's
Stone Mountain.
that's the Stone Mountain sinkhole.
All the way back to the golf course?
There's a manhole right there on the property line of the golf course and, yes.
It's like 60-inch pipe or something.
It's 48 inch.
48.
Yeah, it ended up getting downgraded to a 48 inch, but yeah, that was a hairy situation. That pipe was all sorts of messed up.
Non-existing in some places.
Some questions, answers from the last meeting. Pool facility exhibit, obviously that was passed along to the attorney for meets and bounds. And then wastewater treatment plant outfall, actually Paul and I were out today, just looking at the outfall itself. We would like to go forward with getting our surveyor out there to set meets and bounds for that outfall for access purposes that will then need to go to the owner to make sure we have access. And we have not been able to find it. So.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I got one question. I was watching the weather, and they're talking about an extended heat thing, and that's why I'm interested in how long is it gonna take us to get water on Charleston Park? Because we're gonna lose more trees, we're gonna spend tons of
Yeah,
money.
Yeah.
You know,
It's dry.
trying to save the trees, and I'm not so worried about the grass, it's more the trees. I'm just curious, do we have any idea how long before we can get some water out there? I know you just got the meters.
Yeah, I mean, honest answer is they gotta pressurize the line and see what all is messed up. I know Jamie and them chased after it, you guys pressurized the line. We've
We
had
tried
conversation-
to, we
yeah,
couldn't.
And never, I mean, my guy seemed like he was hopeful that he could do it in a relatively short time. I'll reach out to him tomorrow and then provide an email with where he thinks we sit.
I think we need to try to do what we can to
Right.
get it running, because every day we go, we're gonna lose more trees, and those are $1,000 a piece if they.
No.
Yeah.
But
And
you
you
also
guys-
have
yeah.
a fire hazard
Yeah.
because it's so dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have, you know, the money in the park bonds that, I'm assuming Davis would be utilized, the park bonds can be utilized for irrigation system, correct?
They could.
Yeah, the surplus we have there, so, I mean, we have money that is hard to use in other places that we can use for this as soon as we get those numbers. So I'll reach out to him tomorrow and figure out where that sits.
Yeah, I'd just like to move it as quick as we can,
Yeah.
especially when we got meters down.
Yeah, as soon as they found out the meters were there, they were getting after it, trying to get it going, so,
Yeah, I've seen them out there the last couple of days.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that who's out there? Because I'm getting
Yeah.
reports from homeowners.
Yes, that's correct. That's the irrigation contractor who's trying to figure out where all that stuff is.
Thank you.
I'm concerned though that the trees don't get that much water off of the irrigation system as it is now.
They
It's meant for the
get
fairways.
water from it, because it waters the entire,
They suck it out of the dirt.
they get it,
Yeah.
the trees gonna get their share, they're bigger than the grass.
Because even though we're just watering the
Going down.
grass.
If we have to, we can put heads over there to sprinkle them too, I don't care.
Is
Just
it
need to
considering,
save 'em.
I
Give you a bucket.
apologize, but
I'll give you a bucket.
considering
I don't
using
want a bucket,
tankers
I
for,
want them
for a
to.
while?
Huh?
Would you consider using tankers to work for a little while?
Tankers?
Those tankers just on the side of the road and.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't drive on the grass.
We can,
Okay.
if we
Well,
need
Or
to.
run a hose? Just a thought.
No, they have those
I like
tankers
that.
that spray, they drive on the road.
Mario, he
and
doesn't
spray
do
off.
anything in his free time. He loves it. He's got a backpack and everything.
Miss Judy hasn't told me to leave the district.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
There are drip systems.
This is where he spends his free time, he's good to go.
Yeah,
I love it out here.
yeah.
Do we need to vote on any of these
Yes.
We need to vote on the,
I need authorization to move forward with the design on the wastewater treatment facility rehab project.
And the meets and bounds.
Authorization to award the contract based on my recommendation to McDonald Municipal and Industrial. And then just for a formality and authorization of the Stone Mountain sinkhole stuff.
Okay.
have a motion on that?
I make a motion that we accept the water plant number 2 electrical upgrades from McDonald Municipal for $551,469.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. And then, what was the first one?
The wastewater treatment facility design, just beginning design on the rehab.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we accept the design for the wastewater treatment plant.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I just add, just real quick, we obviously would be, I assume we would be paying for that and then invoicing East Plantation? Or do we want to go ahead and request a deposit for the design work?
I think we'd want to request a deposit for the design work, just with how
How much do
the,
you think that's gonna be?
I can have a number for you
Okay.
shortly.
Okay.
Can we do a blanket authorization to request a deposit from East Plantation pending the engineer's estimate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we need to, motion to
Okay.
accept the funds. I think the board authorizes it, and I think it would be, I assume the intention was that was subject to receipt of a deposit from East Plantation. Is that, because obviously if they're not
Yeah.
going to pay the half, then we
Right.
don't want to move forward.
Right, no,
Right.
that's perfect. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Then I
So
make a-
Taylor, you'll write him a letter,
Yeah,
and once we get the check, you'll get started
yeah, absolutely.
with my help. Okay.
And then we have this one.
I'll make a motion on the Stone Mountain sinkhole that we accept the proposal of $220,550.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're making progress.
Any other
Yes.
questions, guys?
I don't think so.
Spend that bond money.
Okay, parking signage. You want to table that again?
Are you talking about at the pool?
Yeah. Yeah. Not table it one more time?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we table that until next month, Davis? No? Okay. I'll talk to Tim about what you said today, so.
Sounds good.
Okay, number 9, consider requests of East Plantation Utility District and RPCIA for use of the building for meetings. Okay, so I was approached and I was asked at the last East Plantation meeting whether our boardroom would be available for them to use for their meetings, because honestly, now that they have attorneys going to their meetings, now that they have engineers going to their meetings, now that they have the general public going to their meetings, there's no room. There, I mean, literally, I think they had, what, 2 rows of 4 seats last month?
Well, no, they
Yeah.
got that darn air conditioner.
Well, yeah, that too, that's another story. But anyway, there's no room.
Is there
So-
any legal ramifications why we can't do that?
No. So I talked to Davis, they asked me what I thought we would charge them, and this is the deal that I threw out there, and they were like, we'll do it. I suggested that they pay for the cleaning lady every month.
I was gonna say something minimal.
Yeah,
That sounds
they
good.
pay for the cleaning lady. One of them be here and arrange to be here when they come in to clean.
Do we
And-
need to be here while their meetings are?
No, but one of us probably
Well,
will be.
this is
but-
set up.
So that we can
It's
lock
set up,
that
we can
door,
lock this door
and they
with
can
a
just come
different
in
key
here.
and still have access
Right.
here, and they have a restroom.
Right,
So they
Yeah.
can use this, but not have access to
Okay.
the rest of the
Yeah.
facility.
yeah,
You are gonna give them a key?
Yeah,
yeah.
you
We'll
give
give
a key.
somebody,
You give them a
Either
key and you
the-
give them a code to this
yeah,
back door.
either the
That's same
attorney
key as
or,
the front door,
Huh?
isn't it? Isn't it the same key as the front door?
No, it's not
No,
supposed,
it's a
that's
diff-
supposed to be a different one.
yeah, it's-
I don't know if it is or not, but it's supposed to be a different one.
I don't know, we'll figure it out. But I'll either give it to the attorney or give it to somebody,
I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
Franklin or
I
something.
personally don't have a
So,
problem with them using it. I think that's a good idea
Yeah.
That's
myself.
great.
I think
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
okay. And then, that way people don't think it's an abandoned building.
I'm not worried about that.
It's a good looking abandoned building.
Well, apparently someone thought it was an abandoned building, so,
But there's no sense it can't be used, that's what it's here for.
right.
Absolutely.
And then the RPCIA needs a temporary location for their meetings. Their building is going to be, do you want me to say sold?
Yeah.
Their building is going to be sold, and they need a temporary place to meet until they get a new building, a new facility. So, I don't know, I threw it out there, they stocked the refrigerator with water or whatever. I mean, it's like,
I agree with that,
whatever.
It's a
Do you
community
just-
building.
Right,
Do you want
exactly.
access to just this room, or do you need more access?
We're gonna need
Yeah,
more.
they're gonna need, but not the
Office
front
space.
office. The front office is still gonna be ours, with the window and that, still gonna be ours.
Why?
And then, because they didn't want them, they
Oh.
wanted somewhere.
Well,
Plus,
you'll
we
need
have
a
to move
place.
all those records out of there,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, if you've got a place to put them, because the storage rooms back there are full,
Yeah.
and I'm not climbing up to the top shelf anymore to get anything down. So,
How long will they be needing?
How long do we have to keep those things? We have them digitized, do we not?
I think most, Davis, you didn't, no, she didn't take, did she take all of them? No, she just took the minutes, right? Your office, we just had the minutes?
Everything that's up
through
front here
everything.
was
No.
up.
We
Huh?
went through everything we were aware of and pulled all of the permanent records.
Right.
So primarily minutes and other, official documents, but, we did not do anything with the, remaining records.
And there's
So,
still customer records, vendor records, things like that back there.
What is our requirement to keep that? How long do we have to hold on to it?
So we have what's called a records control schedule. And it's a schedule that follows the Texas Library and Archives Commission recommended schedule. And I will tell you, it is lengthy, and there are different guidelines for each type of document. But in most cases, older records that are not things like minutes or bond-related documents, you can dispose of should you choose to. So we would just need to make sure that because there's personal information and everything, that we review all that stuff and dispose of it. That's something we can help you with if you'd like some assistance. But we need to get all those picked up and go through them to make sure that that they are records that can and should be disposed of.
Yeah.
Sounds
Wait till
expensive.
next budget year, yeah, I don't, I'm
I
not
think
worried
it's
about it,
something we need to look at.
but yeah, but
That gives us
yeah.
till October if we do that. Next
Yeah,
budget
I
year.
Yeah, next
truthfully, we
October.
just haven't, they're just sitting there,
They're not-
locked up. We haven't tried to create a project where there isn't one.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and we're not trying to spend money where we don't need to spend money,
sure,
especially right now, so,
Sure.
yeah, so. Okay, so do we need a motion or that we accept, that we allow them to use it, or are we just good with?
I think that's right, the motion to allow them to use it as described.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we allow the EPUD and the RPCI to use the building for their meetings as needed.
okay. Got a second?
I do have one question before we go. Is the CIA gonna be used on a daily basis or just from month to month?
Won't be daily, but it'll be,
No, well,
well,
no,
every
that's not
once in a
true.
while, so. Like the bridge ladies
The
will
bridge
be
ladies
here,
will
they're gonna be in
using-
this
They're gonna
room.
be in here.
Just
The
for your- just for your
ACC
meeting?
committee, they.
No,
asked
we
you
have
to
the
be-
bridge ladies, we'll have our computer up here if we need to use it.
Yeah, the ACC
Say
committee.
ladies play cards
So there will
The
be.
monthly
So they're gonna be
There
up
will be
here.
more
in
additional
here.
cost.
Okay.
Okay, well, we.
So that
okay.
means we gotta move our stuff over here, like our
What
cameras
stuff?
and stuff?
Camera can stay right there.
Camera, you just put in that closet. Put it in that closet.
Nobody's gonna touch the camera.
Yeah.
The ladies are very kind
Technologically.
Well,
and
I
gentle.
know that, I'm not questioning
They're not
anything
rowdy.
like that, I just want to know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned
And
about
it's just a
the
temporary.
Dance on the
additional
table.
cost for
Oh, God.
everything. That's all.
But it's
How much
for
of
the-
an additional cost do you think it would be?
Don't know.
What is he saying?
He's saying the air conditioning would be an additional cost.
You have your air conditioner on all the time anyway.
Yeah, but we turn it up when we leave. It's on, it's up high most of the time, so we would
They
have
only
to have
come
it
2 days a week.
2 days a week.
Yeah.
For the
I mean, if you want to do an average of
And
what
it
your
really-
cost is, and then we get here and you see it's higher than that,
Yeah.
we can adjust that.
But
I mean, we're willing to do a lot more for this building than just put water in your
And
refrigerator.
plus, it would be a good thing that somebody's here to make sure we don't have a water pipe break, or we don't have the air
You need your
conditioner go
toilets
out. We
flushed.
don't have the,
I don't have any problem with it.
And these ladies that do the bridge ladies
That's what
are
we're doing.
old established residents.
And 9% of the time, one of us is with them anyway.
Yeah, they'll be good.
And we could certainly keep an eye on the bill, and if it
Yeah.
becomes an issue, figure something out, but,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I mean, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it.
All right,
No, I made a motion.
we've got a motion. Do I have a
Definitely
second?
want to do it.
Okay, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, resolution establishing fees of office.
okay, in the last legislative session, there was a change to the statutory limit on fees of office for directors. I will tell you, there are currently two limitations. One, $7,200 per year, and two, $150 per day. Those are the standard fees. Obviously, y'all are close to the $7,200 to my knowledge, but $150 per day is the kind of standard director fees of office. The new limit is the same limit that applies for state legislators. So that is currently $221 per day. And the adoption of this resolution would revise your current $150 limit to the legislative limit, which is again $221. So have that on the agenda for your consideration.
Anybody have any thoughts? That's our $100 meeting, or do you want to raise it? You want to keep it 100?
We don't have to change anything.
We don't have to. So is there,
I don't think we do this for the money.
I'm not looking for any more money.
you're not getting rich?
Yeah.
No. All right, so we want to leave it the way it is, or want to raise it? I mean, somebody
Yeah,
have
if we
thoughts.
can't
I
do
thought
that-
about raising it to 150.
I would love to have it 150, but.
I would agree.
I'm fine with it the way it is.
I just do what you guys want, but I don't, yeah. I'm for it, doesn't matter.
Well, I would make a motion that we adjust it to the previous minimum of 150.
Okay. All right.
I
I have a
second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
You're gonna
I'm
abstain?
abstaining also. Yeah.
You're abstaining also. Why can't you just vote nay? What's the difference?
Exactly, what's the difference?
So vote nay
Why?
instead of abstaining. Okay, that means you don't want to make a decision, is what abstaining means.
Right.
What
Okay,
difference does it make?
But does it pass?
yes,
Okay.
three, yes, yes.
3 to 2 abstain.
Okay, all right. Item 11 is executive session, and we are going to have executive session this evening, so,
We seem to have that every.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beginning to like you, Taylor.
Yeah, I would have started doubting you. I don't know why you're beginning.
I mean, all you have to do is decide when you want to have your meeting and adjourn. I'm fine. I don't know that we need to necessarily
I
wait.
think we can do that.
No
You got the
question.
cameras on?
Cameras on.
Yes,
You can go and reconvene.
Okay.
I would, yeah.
All right. RPMUD Board of Directors back in session at 7:59 PM on Thursday, July 13th.
You're good.
Thursday, July 13th. Do I have a motion to adjourn and
As
set
soon
the
as you
meeting for
finish-
next?
As soon as you set the meeting date.
Yeah, that's right. Do I have a motion to adjourn and we'll set the meeting for next month? So the meeting's gonna be
August
August
24th.
24th at 6:30.
I make a motion that we do that on
Okay.
August 24th, and make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
There we
Okay.
go.
There you go. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right, good job, everybody. Yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
Hour and a half.
I think I'm gonna come down here tonight, 10 o'clock.